Hello, and thanks for making time to listen to this clip that I pray will be beneficial to you, even as it challenges you to build your resilience and a personal rhythm in these disrupted times that we live in. We'll be glad to interact with you in the comment section, so feel free to share your comments, questions, as we continue to engage and just sharpen one another. Thank you for those that have subscribed, and if you're listening to this for the first time, kindly consider subscribing. The psalmist, who must have been a worship leader and one who was engaged with many people, writes a great lesson for us. When I remember these things, I speak with a broken heart. I used to walk with a crowd and lead them to God's temple with songs of praise. Why am I so sad? Why am I so upset? I should put my hope in God and keep praising Him, my Savior and my God. So the writer expresses a brokenness at being isolated from people that he would interact with. He expresses that he's broken because he can't be in the middle of the crowds as he used to be, doing something that he enjoyed to do. But somehow he manages to redirect himself and say, you know what, I can still praise, I can still put my hope in God. We can draw quite some parallels for us as well. Notice that we live in times that we are away from crowds. We live in times that we are unable to do perhaps some of the things that we love to do, that we used to enjoy doing. So what can we do? We can learn from this as well and, redirect our hope and be able to collect ourselves and continue with different other things that we have opportunity to do. Imagine for a moment that you are at a party and the music stops. What are your options? First option, stop altogether, go home and sleep, or complain for the most amount of time that you have. Second option, if you can be able to, get your own music and play it and go on with the party. And I realize that this will not only work for you, but it will be able to work for those that are around you that are able to benefit from the music as well. So, given your situation right now in the disrupted times, what are you doing now that the music has been stopped, now that the crowds have been removed from you? I learned in my reflections a few observations from nature that we can take advantage from, that we can learn from and take advantage and be able to get ourselves going. But at the anchorage of that is that whenever there's a crisis, whenever there's a disruption, then that also presents an opportunity for us. And that is a scenario of the party stopping and you being able to keep dancing. So let's see some 3 lessons that we can get from nature. First, when we look at the earth, one of the things you realize that when you step on the earth, it is steady. It is able to carry the weight that is presented to it. So the question for us then is, are you able to carry the weight that is presented to you? Are you able to bear the circumstances and the situations? One of the other things that you learn from nature, from the earth, is that the reason why it is able to carry all the weight that is presented to it is that the earth exists in different layers. And besides that, there are other items like stones and rocks just below it that act then as a support system, and it's able to carry on then the weight that it has. So, as you consider whether or not you're able to carry the weight, one of the other natural then follow-up questions around that is, do you have a support system? Do you have something that you can hold on to get you steady, to get you stable, to get you going on? Now that is a useful question. Now you realize that in the sense of, in the time of isolation, we are moved to our families, we are moved to perhaps just a few friends, we are moved to maybe spending time with God and spending time alone. And ideally, these are supposed to be good support systems for us. No wonder one songwriter would write and say that he is standing on the promises of God. So in one way or the other, for him, this was a way in which he's able to get stability in the time and in the season that he found himself in. The second lesson that we can learn from nature, we can borrow from water. And one of the things that you see about water is that irrespective of the mug or the cup or the shape of the glass, it will be able to adjust and it is able to fit in properly. You also look at the river, and one of the things that you see about the river is that it is able to make its way to its destination. Irrespective of the obstacles, it is able to find a way around. And for me, and for us as well, one of the things that I derive from this is the value of being able to adapt, the value of being able to change. And so the question to ask ourselves is, in the midst of the disruption, what are the few key adjustments that I need to make in my life? You perhaps remember that those who have written about personal change, they say that change is not just part of what we have to do, it is the only constant. It is the only thing that we have to keep doing from time to time. The final lesson from nature is from fire. And what does fire do? One of the things, and because most of us have cooked, you realize is that once you put raw content, raw meat or raw vegetables through a fire, it actually becomes better. And so from this, I get the lesson of the transformation. You know, how can then this disruption or this, so to speak, unpleasant circumstance or this extreme circumstance like fire is, transform me as an individual to be a better person? That is a valuable lesson for us. The reality of life is that at personal level, this may not be the first disruption that you have faced, and it will not be the last that you face. And so it is useful that you build resilience. It is useful that you develop your own personal rhythms and make adjustments for your own self and be able to continuously be transformed or get transformed to be a better person. So the earth teaches us that we must be able to handle the weight that comes. And that requires that we have a firm foundation, that we have a support system. The river, stroke water, teaches us that we must be able to adapt to the scenario that is presented to us and be able to somehow fit in so that we can still navigate our way to the destination that we have. The fire teaches us that we must embrace transformation for the better version of ourselves, given the scenarios that we face from time to time. Somebody has stated what is called the teabag principle, and it states, your true self-worth will be revealed when you're exposed to hot water. When the music is stopped, like it is, you can still keep dancing, because the source of your joy and the setup of music can somehow still be done by you. With the right foundations, you will be able to keep dancing. Thank you for your time. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this with somebody who may be able to benefit from this content. God bless you. Thank you.